Hey everyone, Wanderbot here, and welcome to Gamedec. It's an investigative cyberpunk isometric RPG. So I guess the easiest way I could describe this game is a more cyberpunk, and I'm not sure if it's less dystopic. But if you've ever seen Disco Elysium, this is going to be very similar. And as far as I know, there's no combat in this game. I'm going to take a quick peek at the settings just because, I don't know, it's always nice to look at them. I'd sometimes turn the sound effects down, but I don't actually know if I need to. If there's no combat, maybe it doesn't matter.
It's a strange profession. Gamedec. You're neither a player nor a detective. You know the rules and how people break them. How they leave a digital trail. And there is always a trail. A flaw in the source code. Backdoors used by cheaters. Anonymity skins used to cover up unpopular activities. All can be found. All can be traced. With a lot of skill and a little bit of luck. Sometimes more than a little. Because there are surprises, even for a game deck. But in the end, you keep your eyes on the prize. This is my story. What's yours?
Wait, so is this guy like a cyber sleuth in video games? He looks so badass for a guy that does detective work in like MMORPGs. I realize that I'm sure the crimes are a lot more serious, but the mental image of like some dude in a trench coat with like that much of a collar, then popping into, I don't know, let's go with Maple Story. You know, oh no, somebody's stolen my account. Call the game deck. And the dude just shows up and is like, I'm here. I'm here to solve your crime. And then he does. And he does it well. And you're like, I mean, I guess. I can't really question your style or your drip. You know, just be you, I guess. But boy howdy, I know some of these people like in real life. And let me tell you, the idea of them wearing a trench coat like that is hilarious to me. Oh, I can be whoever I want. Alright, who is the most serious looking dude? I appreciate the fact that there is character customization. I don't know how much it matters. There's also just the preset guy. I see. So we can either be Torkil Imore. Yeah. Any of these? Nah. It looks a little too daddish for me. I like the dude with the cyberpunk arm. Like this guy speaks to me. Oh, he's got a regular arm. He just has a thing going on. Oh, here's the default protagonist, I guess. Interestingly enough, you know, they have this guy specifically on the box art, but this is the guy that they have as the preset character, which is interesting. Let's see, I want to check like one more character. Most of these avatars just don't really speak to me. I kind of like this guy. I like this guy, but I don't like his mohawk. If you could cross this guy's beard with this guy's everything else, I think we'd be in a good spot. I guess, I don't know. Fine, I'll live with mohawks. What's my origin? Low city, high city. I'm high city. Values: self-direction, stimulation, hedonism, achievement, power, security, conformity, tradition, benevolence, universalism, benevolence. He's a good guy. Despite, you know, he's one of those biker dudes that you know, has the heart of gold. Oh, I forget who they're supposed to be. I know there's, oh, he's straight out of the 1950s. Yeah, I forget the name of the biker gang, but there's one that does, like, escort duties for people, and specifically for, like, battered women and some other things, and, like, I've always thought those people were really cool. Anyway, this guy's dude. Apartment. Relium. The unofficial name for the highest levels of polis. High cities feature walking platforms, flying junks, and the densest network of new mobile routes. It's become customary to believe that high cities end at the level where the highest reaching routes of the public transportation tubes are located. Multi-sensory encyclopedia. Cool. I don't remember why I'd become a Gamedec. At some point I must have decided that it was a reasonable way of making money, and then I just got used to it. Dialogue options. Okay, click on the text, corresponding number on your keyboard, dialogue history. Fair enough, so if I want to go back, I can do that. Look around, recall your career. Let's recall our career. Solved numerous cases, so people started to believe I was credible. And credibility was crucial in my line of work. Pretty much everything can be falsified, but you can't fake credibility. Games, besides being my workplace, also became my second home. Did I ever play for fun? Yeah, sometimes I did. Look around. I was sometimes surrounded by the real world. That is, Realium. I could hear Warsaw City humming outside the window. I lived in Tower Stone and Wola. It was the end of the 22nd century, and people were crazy happy. Kidding. Some were, some weren't. Which group did I belong to? I wasn't sure. Start your day. It's time to check if there are any new jobs. I like how this guy wakes up fully dressed with all of his kick-ass cyberpunk stuff just, like, on. Like, the guy just goes to bed with it, with this stuff. These are his pajamas. You don't want to see him when he's wearing his real clothes. Warsaw City in my polis. Look out the window. Walkways, squares, and chasms. That's what modern cities look like. The middle layer, mid-city, despite dense developments, you could still see the sun and pieces of the sky, as well as the long way down. Nice view. Felt a connection with the people above and below. You could hear the transit tubes, new mobiles, the humming ads. It was never quiet. Oh, I lose my mind. Oh, wait. Oh my god, is that a drone that just parks outside your window and just plays advertisements for you? That's hell. I would shoot it. This is where the rich meet the poor, and the light meets the darkness. This is the layer of the city where you can pretty much be whoever you want. Contemplate. Got a few things I need to think over. Can't really contemplate without a drink in your hand. Luckily, the servobot knew exactly what I needed. I greeted my robotic friend, who was waiting for instructions as usual. Tea. I always like tea. Opens your mind and cheers you up. I had a decent chemical blend, and the real more expensive stuff. Profession. Some dialogue options are only available if you have the right profession. I see. Interesting. More expensive stuff. I was gonna beat myself up for something I'd already paid for. I decided I'd drink synthetics when the good stuff was gone. Okay. This ad is gonna drive me nuts. Decided to think some stuff over and get to work. Recent events. Some had been talking about Pygmalion technology, developed by Blue Whales Interactive. It upgraded AI to the level of the human psyche. Recent gossip. A man named Ken Zo, a young, good-a-bad star, screwed up in the last game, and his Black Angels lost. Pygmalion. BWI claimed they could create human beings, obviously for a hell of a price. Such humans are called diginets. A diginet has a synthetic brain. A Rendan, but no body. It lives online unless you buy it at Mobrium. There were demonstrations at the company's location against this technology. The protesters claimed that the diginets were unnatural. I mean, unnatural, yes. Problematic? Also maybe. Whatever, protesters are wrong. The company introducing such risky tech must have tested it in thousands of ways, otherwise it wouldn't have put its reputation on the line. Protesters were a bunch of ignorant people afraid of progress. I wasn't going to waste time on them. Sensory worlds. Dozens of games and millions of players meant plenty of cases for Gamedecs. Hatred, greed, and deviousness are especially common online. Two topics have been especially popular in the media recently: digital love and whether it's better to live online or in Realium. Digital love. Time for a sip. The opponents of online relationships have a simple argument. The beautiful young prince you fell in love with may actually be a lecherous old man. It might not even be human. Could be an NPEC. Supporters of online romance respond with, so what? We live in times where you may never see your love in Relium. What difference does it make who or what she really looks like? I feel like there's more nuance than just, like, either of these. I'm gonna go with it's a scam. I've had a couple of people get catfished over the years. Friends. Specifically, I remember having to try and tear a friend away from a relationship online, being like, well, it wasn't even online. It was a girl that he had met in college, but he barely ever saw her, but talked to her all the time online. And she would just string him along, and when she did see him in person, it was usually to get him to pay for something for her. And he spent like a year just kind of being this awkward third wheel to this girl and her boyfriend, supporting her, and like kind of hoping that she'd ditch her boyfriend for him, and it was awful. And I realized like this is just kind of a separate thing, but it's kind of one of those where I've seen it happen enough that a healthy distrust is always important. When people pretend to be something else, they're lying to themselves and others. They should see a doctor, a therapist. Stop pretending. To me, such a life is a lie. If scammers and their victims don't care, that's fine. But it's not a different kind of truth. Time to get to work. Interesting. Checked my email. Oh, thank God. Walking away from that is nice. I like this dude's apartment.
Breaking news.
Huh. And yeah, we just kind of sit down. This is a sick apartment. This guy must make bank. Warsaw City News, the latest domestic and international news all day long. Today is Monday, July 17th. My name is Carla Kolumna, and this is the news. Ken Zo, the young star of Good Bats, loses a game miserably. Zo blames everything on glitches in the game. Could this be the end of the youngster's career? I still love the fact that I look like somebody that's supposed to be a street bruiser, and I'm just a nerd that lives in his apartment and solves video game crimes. Bliss. The control panel for the apartment's AI. A fine piece of software that didn't treat fridge contents as its first priority. You can also talk to it. Its name is Bliss. That's the default name. Never bothered to change it. Activate the system. Logo with 2 whales appeared on the panel. Thank you for purchasing a product manufactured by Blue Whales Interactive, the leader in the field of AI. BWI, never alone. You are activating Bliss for the first time. First, configure the software to your liking. I cursed. Something had reset my settings. Probably another failure in the tower or surge upstairs. I had to reconfigure everything again. Check the logs. There's nothing in the system. Logs of the previous activations and conversations would be in the cloud, provided they existed. Probably somewhere on the Blue Whales Interactive servers. Too high a bar for me. Had to be a real magician to access them. Casual conversation. Holographic figure appeared in the air. Hello, my name is Bliss. What do you want to talk about? Clothes. Hi, what do you mean? Don't you remember me? Why does everything break all the time nowadays? My computer. It controlled the couch, communicated with the household appliances, let me send messages, and did everything else. It was old and could use an upgrade, but it still worked enough to be reliable. Well, a few emails from clients that helped. I needed to reply to those. Let's see, reply to emails. First, Senator Stone was grateful for working out what his daughter was doing in Ghoul Hearts. Offer advice. Senator couldn't handle his children. Gave him some advice. He could use it. I got through the other emails quickly. Some were invitations to events, some were spam. I replied. This game is making me feel seen in a really weird way. I mean, not the Senator thing, like Cripes. This guy is somehow incredibly well connected for a dude that is a I can't get over the fact that this guy is a video game detective. Check contacts. Or contracts. Maybe someone took pity on me and offered me a job while I was away in Virtualia. Virtualia? A job, and it was urgent. I have a discreet and urgent matter for you. I'll pay good money. Please get back to me ASAP. Jeffrey Haggis. Contact Haggis. Mr. Haggis was worried. I needed to sense him. Hello, Jeffrey Haggis. Got your email. Oh, you there. Please come see me. Blue Whales Interactive Tower, level 255. South entrance. I'll tell you everything when you're there. Sure. As you wish. I'll be there shortly. He disconnected. Oh. My, like, hard-boiled voice just absolutely just... I don't know. So all the doors protected me and my apartment. Or maybe they protected Warsaw City from me. You're a goddamn nerd. Go to your client. This guy is so intense. It's like, oh gosh. Honestly, you know, here's the thing. I'm making fun of him a little bit relentlessly here, but at the same time, I kind of sympathize. Sorry, I've been bragging about these headphones a lot, but I picked up a pair of bone conductive headphones, which is like the most cyberpunk shit that I own. Effectively, it's headphones that don't do anything with your ears. It just vibrates kind of my skull outside of where my ears are, and that's enough that I can hear like really well. And so it's like super cyberpunk, and so I've taken to kind of just wearing them around and listening to music, using them when I'm not recording and whatnot. And like, I gotta say, I think if I had all this cyberpunk junk just in my possession, I'd probably just wear it around my house. Maybe just because otherwise, why would I ever, like, what would justify me even using it? I know Shell would just wear pajamas all the time, and I kicked my mic. Shell is an absolute, you know, gosh, what do I even say? Comfort hound? They'll just pajama up, throw on a bathrobe, throw on a blanket, and be an absolute just... Oh, I don't even know how to describe it. The other thing I was gonna say is, why the heck is this guy going to the office specifically? I mean, I've had a couple of business meetings, but 99% of the time, whenever I have a business meeting, it's just like, hey, Wander, do a sponsored video on this. And I'm like, okay, cool. Obviously, I guess maybe this is a little bit more serious, but if it's like, go investigate this video game for me for, like, glitches, Anyway, Haggis's office, Relium. The communicators of the late 22nd century, I don't care about these, that's just stuff. The director's office is behind that door. Mr. Haggis is expecting you. Codex is a popular Gamedec tool. Contains information. Cool. I guess I don't want to skip the tutorial. You to pull up the codex. So we know about Bliss. We know a lot about Bliss. There's also a lot of things. Like, I'm actually really into this. There's a lot of information to be learned here. Unfortunately, it's a lot to parse, and maybe more than I want to deal with right now. Holy shit, there's a lot. Like, I appreciate having all of this stuff just because... Oh gosh, yeah, there's way too much. Oh, professions. Aspects are a part of the Gamedec's personality. Expressed through actions, thoughts, and emotions. Be kind to gain the empathy aspect. Inspire someone to gain inspiration. Aspects are grouped into 4 following categories: decisive red, analytical blue, creative yellow, and sociable green. Aspects are used to unlock professions. Hold the left mouse button on a chosen profession to unlock it. Professions unlock special conversation options, enabling you to do more. Hover your cursor over a profession and see a description. Each profession requires a different personality. The description will indicate which aspects unlock a given profession. A profession will be highlighted if you have the required aspects. Huh. Okay. Unfortunately, it looks like... Wait. I thought it was saying it was highlighted if I could get it. So, we could get sleeves. And we can get scalpel. I'm gonna get scalpel. Apparently it lets me communicate with medical people. Oh, and it costs points. I should pay a little bit of attention to all of this. I think I'd probably also want to invest in Infotainer. I think I'm going to go this direction. This seems a little aggressive for me. These wouldn't be bad. I don't know. We don't know how many points I even get to utilize here. Can I save? I can save. I'm just going to use this person's workspace. Computer on the desk was not secured. The empty workspace exuded corporate solitude. Nameplate on the desk read, Junior Customer Support Specialist Idris Ikari. Look at the monitors. Screensaver slideshow alternated between landscapes between the ABBs and the towers of the Warsaw City. Breaking the sequence, an image of two women embracing appeared on one of the monitors. One of them had blue hair. Log in. Barely touched the screen and gained access to the desktop. It wasn't locked. It was a BWI presentation, an unfinished Hand of Solitaire. Let's see. Finish the Hand of Solitaire. Couldn't just leave a game unfinished like that, so I started arranging the cards on the screen. I finished. It wasn't too bad of a score. Like I said, we're just like ultra nerd. Browse the presentation. The 3D blue whales flying through the clouds. Company's logo. Animated slides presented the financial results of the last quarter. Copy the presentation to take a look at later. Huh. Is there a way to highlight all of these? Notice the gold frame as soon as I entered the room. Inspect the frame. It looked like gold, but I wasn't certain. It's easy enough to check. My badge and used it to scratch the smooth surface. Deep groove appeared. Gold. Contemplate the painting. You're such a weird dude. I love it. It was a painting of Jeffrey Haggis. Directors and their inflated egos. But why was it hanging in the hall? The receptionist in love? Maybe it was just corporate policy. Didn't have time for artistic contemplation. Well, you had time for enough. Let me guess. Junior got into trouble? Sup, Junior? Hello. The man took a deep breath and let out the air through his nose with a loud wheeze. No past choices. Dialogue tags. Interesting. So, me playing solitaire was a mistake. Okay, I should probably read this. Icons and tags that appear on the left of the text. Text mark dialogue branches that you have unlocked by your previous decisions. Other players might see something different or nothing at all. There are several ways an interaction or a dialogue branch can be unlocked. Your previous knowledge, past choices, and the relationship you have built can all unlock pieces of the narrative. A branch can also be unlocked by your background, a profession you have unlocked, or a deduction you've made. How long do you expect me to wait? His gaze bores into me like he was trying to break me. Apologize for being late. Take initiative? Take initiative. Mr. Haggis, I'm a Gamedec and... Yes, I know. Wonderful. Something's wrong with my son. He's not getting off the couch and, well, see for yourself. Been over 4 days. He entered some game with his friend Timmy. I tried talking to Timmy, but he's clammed up. His condition makes me worry even more. My son's on the couch in the next room. Let's go there now. Oh, it's not... Oh, that's probably Timmy. There he is. Find out what's going on with him and how he can be helped. Agus's son was wearing an expensive brand-name suit, and a state-of-the-art helmet covered part of his face. The couch's side panel warned that he exceeded the online time limit. I couldn't help noticing the genital area of his gaming suit was bulging. Gross. Look at the helmet. Lean over to get a better look. Check the helmet number. To get a look at the number, I had to lift the boy's head. Raise the head. Gently grabbed the head and turned it a little. Frito moaned. Watch out, you idiot. You hurt him. Explained. Hey, because I'm his scalpel. Relax, he'll be fine. I've done this hundreds of times. Trust me. Clenches his jaw as if restraining himself from cursing. Do what you must. Continue. Turn the head to access the helmet's technical data panel. The boy exhaled heavily. Ugh. I took a good look at the panel and scanned the helmet's serial number. Look at the helmet. Leaned over for a better look. Check the screen. The visor... I'm just going to switch over to my regular voice. Trying to voice this is hard. The visor screen had no info on Frito's virtual location. An intentional safeguard. The helmet didn't have an observer port either. There's no way to see what he was playing. Full discretion. Agus clears his throat impatiently. Welcome your conclusions when you're ready. Examine Frito. Examine his face. Leaned over and looked under the helmet's visor. There weren't any signs of an extended online stay. Expensive supplements did the trick. I noticed a healing bruise on his jaw under his ear. There was some discoloration. The signs of ScarStop overuse. As a doctor, I'd seen it many times. Either he got into some fights where his ear was pulled, or he was victim of domestic abuse. Frito touched his hand. Took his hand. It was trembling slightly, but had normal temperature. What happens in games that generate lots of adrenaline? His fingertips were covered in sweat. No, not sweat. I rubbed the sticky substance between my fingers and sniffed. Berries and chewing gum. Any conclusions? Starting to lose my patience. Present your report. Mr. Haggis, Frito's Mr. Haggis, Frito's life is not in danger. He's properly devitalized and fine from a medical standpoint. He's been logged in for over 4 days, but there are no signs of adverse effects from the session. This is some excellent equipment. Doing a heart extraction by taking the helmet off is a huge risk, and logging out remotely, it's impossible, I know, like in most systems. Can you tell me where he's logged into? The Virtualium does not roll off the tongue. Data is masked by the helmet's discretion system. Gamedec equipment won't help here either. I need to find out which game Frito logged into and then take the appropriate steps. I understand. Frito entered with his friend Timmy, a spineless pushover. He's in my office. Maybe he knows something, but hurry. He'll be picked up soon. Deduction. Sometimes you'll gain information directly pertaining to the deduction process necessary for solving the case. Left-click the deduction icon at the edge of the screen or press Y to see it. Alright, get to work. Let's do this. Deduction. Haggis job. No data. Okay, the main nodes are questions that are part of the key part that are the key part of the deduction process. I can't read anything today. Your task is to gather information and choose the answer to each deduction node based on that information to unlock the following nodes. Repeat the process until you reach the final conclusion. Okay. So, no data. Do I have any data? It looks like not. At least not right now. So we're just gonna... Yeah, we're gonna just leave this. It says no data. I don't know how to get it necessarily. Okay. I'm just gonna check other things while we're here. Okay, better look. The suit was equipped with an advanced anti-bed sore software. It resembled the skin of a slithering snake. Check the material. The nanofiber material was adjusted to fit the muscles. It provided stimulation and protected the user from dystrophy. Ran my fingers over the suit's surface. The synthetic fibers emitted more heat in the places where they needed to work harder. Check the couch. The Royal Mat Discretion and Comfort couch reeked of luxury and unattainability. The system masked the player's login information. Like the couch's panel. The small screen displayed Frito's vital signs, pulse, muscle tension, and brain activity. Excess cortisol production. ECG was jumping like crazy. The system struggled with stress reduction. Frito was on the verge of exhaustion and simultaneously very sexually aroused. Examine Frito. Other actions? Okay. I mean, sounds like the dude strapped himself into a crazy porn game, probably with whoever she is. Conversation bar. Some dialogues require more effort. The blue bar above the dialogue window represents the emotional state of the person you're talking to. Your choices influence that state. Try to find out how. If the conversation bar reaches a lock, additional information or dialogue options will be unlocked. Hover over a lock to learn more. Okay, I want to check this though. So I think we just got one more point in inspiration. Unfortunately, I'm going to need a lot of things. The kid looked around with terror in his eyes. When I approached him, he trembled. Are you going to question me? Confirm. No, calm down. We're just going to talk. Questioning is best left for the police. I'm here to help Mr. Haggis' sons. Let's just talk, alright? Okay, I want to help too. He nodded vigorously. That is a sick-looking suit. Tell me what happened. It was Frito's 16th birthday, and we were inside an adult game. He turned red and stared violently, intently at his shoes. What do you want to know? Talk about Timmy. Let's focus on you, Timmy. The boy's a mess. Do something about it. He was tired and confused. I considered which medication would be best for him and gave him something. For his anxiety, he's tense. Here, Timmy, take this. It'll help you come to your senses. He loosened up. He was now seeing a friendlier reality. Okay, I believe you want to help. It was Frito's birthday. Did I mention that? So we logged into Paradise Beach. It's a place where adults get together there. You can read all about it in the description. He turned red like my grandma's geraniums. Alright, talk about Timmy. What games does he like? What games do you like, Timmy? Whatever Frito plays, space sims like Dream Space or Dying Stars, shooters too. Crying Guns is our favorite. He loosened up. He liked to talk about games. I believe you, really I do, and I want to help. It's just that I can't quite remember. I don't know what actually happened. I had trouble putting sentences together and remembering events. It wasn't just shock. Something had really disturbed his nervous system. Your nervous system is overloaded, but it will regenerate. It'll pass. Breathe. More Timmy. Ask if he's alright. Are you alright? You're slurring your words and trembling. How do you feel? Not too good. I'm dizzy, but that's from the fatigue. We played for a long time, you know. Say it doesn't seem like fatigue. Doesn't seem like fatigue, Timmy. Tell me what happened. Ow. You don't believe me? We didn't do anything weird. I'm a good gamer. I gave it all my all. That's why. Frustration worsened his stuttering. Okay. Ask why I logged off without Frito. Left the game even though your friend kept playing. What happened? Didn't want to leave him. I was feeling bad, shaking. I know you don't want to abandon your friends. Okay. You're a Gamedec? Confirm. Yes, Timmy, I'm a game detective. Cool, can you tell me about your work? Sure. Sure, but I've got questions for you. He nodded. Tell him about Gamedec work. You want to know about Gamedec work? As a detective, I help people with their problems within the scope of sensory worlds. Answer emotionally. Gamedecs wander the edges of reality so often that what is and isn't true is no longer important. Helping others is what counts. That's why I'm here. Yeah, Frito needs you. He nodded with all seriousness. You seem alright. I'll tell you what Frito looks like in the game. He bought us both skins, and mine was almost as cool as his. Old Man Haggis doesn't know. We used an agent and covered our tracks so no one would find out we're going to an adults-only world. Ask about the Virtualium. Virtualium? Let's see. Ask about Paradise Beach. Why'd you choose Paradise Beach? Well, to have some fun. Help him choose his words. People normally log onto Paradise Beach to pick someone up, flirt a bit, or go to bed with someone. Is that what you're looking for? Yeah. Frito says we need to have an instinct, and we have it. We were godlike. Because we always know how to handle girls. He had no idea how to handle girls or Gamedecs. I knew he was lying. He seemed to be gaining courage. What do you need to do to become a Gamedec? Admit it's easy, or tell him he's got a shot at it. Admit it's easy. You just need to pass some psychological tests, buy a license, advertise, and be bold enough to call yourself Gamedec. Most don't stay Gamedecs for long. He seems disappointed. Let's see, ask how many worlds they played in. Celebrated Frito's birthday in just one Virtualium? Yeah, but we did some pre-gaming here first. Kind of overdid it. Frito had trouble putting on his suit. He realized he had said too much and stopped. Show understanding. I know how things are, Timmy. When I was your age, I also went to parties and drank booze. He laughed. Booze is for the old, or the poor. Frito and I have better stuff. But the girl Frito bought had booze. She said that it was included. He's no longer terrified and just wanted the next question. Or waited for the next question. There we go. Alright. Yeah, what were they up to? What were you doing inside the game? Well, what you normally do in an adult game. I see, this is why I wanted potentially infotainer. Unfortunately, it's going to take a little bit to get some of these. Ask about other activities. What else? You were gone for a few days. We spent some time in the theater-turned-club, had some drinks. It seems he spoke more easily when he wasn't talking about erotic manners. Slowly opening up to me. We didn't know because we always buy the most expensive tech and win. And everyone envies us. No risk, you know? It's supposed to be like that. You know how it is, don't you? Confirm. Sure, everyone likes to show off now and then. He nodded vigorously. I think he liked me. Let's see. Ask about Frito. Ask about enemies. Has anyone been threatening Frito? Did he have any enemies? No way, everyone likes him, admires him. He's the best in graphics and has awesome skins and fast fury scores. He bought the best 15k speeder and... Listen to this story. I was amazed as Timmy recounted Frito's achievements. The kid burned through money, offending anyone in his way, and was always able to avoid consequences. Timmy seemed to revel in his friend's insolence. He obviously believed that arrogance and poor manners were cool. I trust you, I'll tell you the truth. Just don't tell Mr. Haggis. We went into Twisted and Perverted, a world where people hurt each other for pleasure. It's horrible, and Frito, he's still there. Please find him, hurry. Thank you, Timmy, you've been a great help. Oh, is that it? I guess that's it. Okay, this is deeply That's really weird. Okay. Well, we got a deduction. So, game for adults. Timmy suffered mental trauma. Frito is agitated and exhausted. Boys in Paradise Beach. And Twisted and Perverted. Each main node in your deduction panel is the question you're trying to answer. On the left side, you can see the clues that you've gathered. Possible answers are listed on the right. Hover over them to learn more. Every decision in the deduction is binding. And cannot be unmade. If you choose the option, let the father find his son in the game, you will in fact abandon the case. If you believe you have enough information, click and hold the left mouse button over the correct answer. I mean, the real answer is look for him in the game Twisted and Perverted. Frito may still be in the game Twisted and Perverted, an adult world that combines sex with violence. I should log into the game and find the boy there. I'm just gonna save. This is... I'm gonna say this is kind of unsettling. I appreciate that they're just diving right into the heart of the matter, question mark, but at the same time, boy, this is weird. Okay. Makes me glad these things don't really exist, is what Shell says, and I agree. Interesting that there's another option there. Oh well. Okay, so we have to do some things. I'm gonna look at stuff. Part of the floor stood out from the rest. There's no chance of a flaw in the design, not in a building like this. Take a closer look. It's like a hatch. It was a good place for a safe. Let's leave. I'm not gonna try and rob the guy right here and now. That'd be hilariously terrible. Dream of stock market quotations appeared on the screen. The hardware was high-end, like everything else in these rooms. System access was blocked, but I was convinced I could log in if I tried. This had to be the hardware that was monitoring Frito's couch. Let's leave it. System access was blocked, but I was... Okay, yeah, it's the same thing. Okay. Infolia files, all open to the BWI homepage. Read. Articles about Pygmalion, the flagship BWI product. It allowed you to create living human psyches. Copy the rest of the codex. I'd get to it if I had more time. Or when I had more time. The floor was sticky in that spot. Sniff it. Berries and chewy gum. Barely noticeable trace of liquor. Take a closer look. Stain was light blue. Taste it. Ran my fingers across the stain and brought my fingertips to my tongue. Sour. The ethanol was long gone. Caught Timmy's surprised look. He cleared his throat and looked away. Comment. Running an investigation. All details mattered. We're such a weirdo. Panda? Animal looks like it was as if it was frozen in time. Take a closer look. Submerged in a transparent resin substance, the pandas seemed alive. There's a panel with a single red button at the base of the display. Leave. I think if I press the button, it just either lets it loose or something else happens. You know what? Actually, I have the power of time control. I'm gonna press the button. Oi! The hidden anti-G mechanism buzzed as it moved the polymer resin blocks apart. The animal's dark eyes seemed to be filled in despair. Take a closer look. The split blocks revealed the creature's intestines. There was some digested food left. It seemed like the organs moved slightly and in a barely visible contraction. Maybe it was just the light. Knock on the glass. Knocked softly. It felt like the animal glanced at me. Pressed the button. Familiar sound filled the room as the blocks came together. Jesus Christ, that poor panda. A harp. For ages, the instrument has attracted both artists and common mortals. Examine the harp. Made of authentic exotic wood, richly encrusted with ivory. The pedals were probably gold-plated. Expensive stuff. Definitely wasn't there to be used. It was supposed to look good and serve as an indicator of the owner's status. I really want that infotainer. But we need one in rules, it looks like, if I want to snag that. I don't necessarily know if we need it, but I feel like there's some options there. There's a rather provocatively dressed 20-something-year-old woman on the couch. Warnings flash from the device's panel. Check the couch's panel. She exceeded the safety limits for a logged-on time. Over 4 days without a suit. She must have taken a game pill, or her bladder wouldn't have held out. She started revitalization, but something interrupted the process. Even though she couldn't control her body, I thought she could hear me. Her helmet had an external monitoring port. I could connect to it and see what happened. Let's take a closer look at the woman. Data first, then contact her. I must have been planning a short session since she didn't put on a suit. The front of her body was cold and the back was overheated. She didn't have any bed sores yet. She looked like one of the women I'd seen on the computer screen in the hall. Is this your assistant? She's just a random lowlife. Leave her alone and get back to my son. X's face swelled up with anger. Explain. She may have some crucial information. Alright, just hurry it up. Ask about her. Who is she? I don't know, Timmy was blabbering something about her being in the game with them. Okay, let's connect to the helmet. Eggs noticed what I was doing. The observer's port. He nodded, and I see you're prepared. When I connected to her helmet, the image was transmitted to my lenses. The girl drifted in an undefined space. It wasn't the network menu or any of the games I knew. Wow, this is actually really pretty to look at. Hello, I'm at Gamedec. I was hired by Mr. Haggis. I connected to your helmet. You can talk, and I can hear you on my walktel. According to the login, your name is Starlet. Is that right? They did some really beautiful portrait art for some of these characters. She moaned like she was in pain. A Gamedec. That's great. Yeah, I'm Starlet. I can't seem to log out. Questioner. I want to ask you a few questions. If it helps you get me out of here. Asked what happened. What happened? How'd you get here? I don't know. I don't even know where here is. I was in the game with the guys, and then someone attacked me. Who attacked you? In what game? Was Frito Haggis there? I'm confused and exhausted. I can't. Someone definitely attacked me. I blacked out. Ask about her condition. How are you feeling? I can't move or feel anything. I can only talk. In this emptiness, I'm going crazy in here. Your revitalization wasn't completed. Oh, your revitalization wasn't completed. I've seen it happen before, and I know how to help you. Get back to questioning first. Ask about Idris. You know Idris? I saw your picture on the computer. She looks at me with surprise. Yes, she's my girlfriend. Did you come to see her or the guys? Can we not talk about it right now? Get me out of here and I'll tell you everything. Stopping asking questions, that's all for now. Offer assistance. Let me try and help you. That's a weight off my shoulders. Okay. Progress bar appeared in your quest log. It's influenced by your decision and dialogue choices. Remember that maxing it out can prompt a negative or positive outcome, depending on the situation. Analyze the problem. Interrupted revitalization is rare. I could have pulled off her helmet, but that might have ended badly. There's a safer solution. Revitalization is like waking someone up. The senses turn on in a specific order. Hearing is usually first. Starlet's was always already working. Then comes proprioception, the ability to sense the positioning of one's body. Then the sense of balance. Taste and smell are activated almost simultaneously, followed by touch. Vision comes last. Okay, Starlet, I know how to wake you. Wait, I hear laughter. What's happening? My deck detected the girl's helmet being bombarded with exabytes of data. Someone wanted to overload it and terminate our connection. Starlet, someone's trying to stop us from talking or probe me. Damn it, what are you gonna do? The attack was intensifying. I didn't have much time. Activate the firewall. Can I save? No, sort of. Observe the attack signal. My connection was being overloaded with streams of incoming data. The Walktail wasn't able to interpret it. And it was getting stronger by the second. Firewall. Activate some barriers to block the signal. It's only a matter of time before they crack. It's possible to use jamming barriers to slow the attack, or some weaker reflection barriers to track the source. Jamming barriers. Activated barriers. Don't know how long they'd hold. Put up some barriers, bought us some time. Great. It's about time we got out of here. Revitalizer. Don't have much time. I'm going to try and get you out of here. Finally. Okay. Awaken her by stimulating her senses. Correct order was key. The revitalization bar had stopped on stimulating pure perception. Seems right to start with that. I'm going to try finishing your revitalization. I'm going to need you to touch your body. Is that okay? Do whatever's necessary. Move her arm. Felt around for Scarlet's arm in Relium, raised it, and moved it around. The revitalization bar moved forward. Pure perception complete. Good start, but the screen didn't display the next stage. Okay. Let's see. I took notes. Stimulate the sense of balance. Decided to stimulate her inner ear, her sense of balance. Raise her head. I gently raised the girl's head. Okay, something's happening. I feel dizzy. It means your inner ear has been stimulated. I can stimulate another sense. Okay. It is taste and smell. So I guess it would be sense of smell. Time for the sense of smell. It's connected with taste. I hesitated. Give her a piece of mint gum. Dug into my pocket for a pack of mint gum. Took out a piece and carefully slid it under her helmet. Hey, I smelled something strange and now I have a weird taste in my mouth. It means we're on the right track. The attack was getting stronger. Finish revitalization. Let's see. Simulate sense of touch. Took Scarlet's hand and squeezed it. You can feel your hand, finally. Now comes vision. Hacker broke through. We only had time for one action. Finish revitalization. Unfasten the helmet. I'm about to take your helmet off. It should stimulate your vision and motor functions. I took it off her head. Finally, thank you. The words didn't come through the Walktail, but directly from her lips. I was about to terminate the connection when I saw a message. Gamedec, whoever brought you into the game doesn't understand its rules. Go home and go to sleep. It's for your own good. Don't get involved. The attack ended and I got disconnected. Okay. Weird sexy shit aside, this game is really cool. Well, Gamedec, you actually impressed me. Can you wake up my son now? I'll do what I can, Mr. Haggis. Like, that was really cool. Kind of stressful, and yeah, I feel like this is the kind of game that I'm going to this is the kind of game I'm going to have to save scum a lot if I actually want to get further in it. But, you know, I don't know if you've been following my channel lately or just for a while now, but I'm a big fan of CRPGs, but they tend to be really boring. Not like really boring, but like really boring from like a commentary perspective, and I think kind of locked into what was done before, sort of. I know Planescape Torment you could go through a lot without doing combat. I think that game was even, like, I think you can beat Planescape Torment without attacking a single enemy, but I could be wrong. Or the game just barely even has combat. But for me, my absolute favorite CRPG, which is computer RPG if you've never heard of them before, or at least the terminology. But my favorite is Disco Elysium, which is pure dialogue, pure investigation, and pure just... it's almost kind of like a dialogue puzzle, environmental puzzle, and exploration puzzle game, and it worked really well. It was very compelling. And I'm getting very similar flavors from this. I absolutely adore the visual design. You know, everything looks properly sci-fi. From the floors to the everything else to hello. I sincerely apologize. I was told to take the boy Timmy home. The Newmobile is waiting. The kid nodded. Thank you. Hope you can help Frito. Bye, Timmy. Hang tough. Cool. I didn't mean to have that happen, but that's okay. I mean, this freaking panda is cyberpunk as shit. Like, every single bit of this is great. That poor panda, though. But it's like, this is actually kind of what I was hoping cyberpunk would be closer to. And I realized cyberpunk was not going to be this, like, in-depth dialogue game. But this is just so much more compelling. I just wish it wasn't weird, sexy shit right off the bat. I'm gonna quick save. And we are going to check the safe. Put my ear against the door, started knocking. Remember? It was how they did in Hollow movies. Okay. we're just gonna go back. Trying to be an absolute nerd through this safe is just gonna get me caught. I don't really know why. It's interesting that you can really, like, you don't have to do this case at all. Okay, let's talk to Starlet. I'm just gonna finish this up and get to whatever the next stage of this is gonna be. How are you feeling? I was without a suit for too long. I'm a bit shaky, but my back is cooling and my stomach is warming up. You pulled me back from that void. Thank you. You probably want to ask me some questions before I leave. Ask. Let's see. Ask about the liquor. Found signs that someone drinking alcohol here. Do you know anything about it? We drank that expensive sparkling wine before going online. The boys were celebrating a birthday. That's all. Ask where they logged into. Do you remember which world you and the boys entered? I took them to Twisted and Perverted. If only I had known how it would turn out. Ask about Frito's condition. Frito can't seem to log out of the game. Do you know why? No, the boys were fine, and then I blacked out. I guess someone hacked me. Let her leave. That's all. Thank you. You should get some rest. I overstayed my welcome. Drop by Yeti's coming in Low City sometime, and I'll buy you a drink. Oh, and Mr. Haggis? What do you want? Who do I bill for the escort service? You or the company? He wants to say something, but just stood there, holding his breath, with his mouth tightly shut. Okay. Examine Frito. Check if he's faking. Yeah. Okay, so there's nothing I can do. He looked at me with disgust, as if to let me know that I was wasting his time. Mr. Haggis, I've come to a conclusion about Frito. I'm listening. Frito might be inside the adults-only world, Twisted and Perverted. You know, the one combining sex and violence. I should look for him there. That's what I was afraid of. Do your thing. The access fee for that Virtue Alien will be taken care of. All expenses are on me. Alright. Oh, so we're just using the spare couch. Shouldn't I, like, put on a suit? I guess not. Alright, let's just pop in. Royal mat couch in full working order. The latest model, obviously. Search. Casing was slightly loose. Inspect carefully. Side panel was loose. Someone forgotten to tighten the screws. Remove the panel. Tried to loosen the screw, wouldn't budge. Pull. Lifted the panel up with my fingers and pulled it as soon as I could get a good grip. The polymer screeched so loudly I shuddered. What are you doing over there, Gamedec? Try to explain. I'm looking for clues. What clues? That couch cost 1.5 million credits, so I'm effing warning you. Watch what you're doing. Oh, do I have enough for anything? Nope. Yeah, because I really need rules and stuff. Don't respond. Well. That's interesting. Yeah, I'm a little leery on plugging in, but oh well. Enter Twisted and Perverted. Something bad happened in TNP. Frito must have been here, so I need to go in. I think this is going to be a mistake, but you know what? Whatever, who cares? I just want to, well, I want to say I want to see what's inside this, but I don't actually. Like I said, the weird sexy shit being the intro to this game is a little off-putting, but still. Welcome, fan of Paradise Beach and other Blue Whales interactive games. Admit it, you've had a crush on many of our NPCs, and now you can give them life. Yes, BWI has developed a human creation technology. We can upgrade the AI of any character that you choose to the level of the human mind, and there's so much more. We can create a human psyche from the ground up according to your preferences. The person you created will have a personal Renden, a unique mind, a personal IN, a college degree, and civil rights. Do you feel like a god now? You should. Creation is in your hands. Pygmalion technology commercial. Oh, wait, I have a gun? Twisted and Perverted HUD. Each Virtue Alien has their own HUD. The status bar on the top of the screen. TMP HUD shows the player's level. In TMP, there are EXP, slots for owned objects, and a counter for kills and deaths. What? Shit, what am I even doing here? Okay, what is this? I'd like to note... Oh, sorry, different voice. I'd like to note that Nope. You know what? I give up on voice acting. I'd like to note that I don't want to put anything inside you or pull anything out of... pull anything out or do anything else these deviants do. I'm not like that. I seem like the only normal person in this whole circus, and I have a sensitive problem. Very sensitive. I'll just say it, I'm looking for my wife. Hear him out. Tell me more. This is just how it is. I've been standing here for an hour and can't find Rhonda anywhere. At the same time, I know she's cheating on me. Cut to the chase. Let me cut to the chase. I'm a Gamedec. I need information about your wife, not what you had for breakfast. Gamedec. Locked out. It's told she plays here often and it's quite the results. Ugh. Ask about her handle. Do you know the handle she uses? There's something in the anonymous letter. Horny or something? Will you help me? Sure. I'll look for her. Really? Thank you. There's some good people left in the world. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna leave for a hot second, because I have no interest in any of these things. I'm curious, you know, there's very clearly, like, I have a gun, and there's levels, and shooting, and a lot of other dialogue. Like, this is pretty cool. It's also incredibly off-putting. Off-putting? I don't know, it's mainly just, like, from a YouTube perspective, I do not want to go any further, because I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get demonetized so hard I'm not even going to be able to show this video to half the watchers. We've danced around a lot of weird stuff, and I don't actually know what I'm gonna find inside this, so I kind of don't want to deal with it. That said, this is a really cool CRPG. The dialogue choices are nice, the sheer level of variety. I'm sure a lot of it is still illusion of choice, but the fact that they're taking in all of these different dialogue choices and characters remembering things and having that all kind of tie together into this fairly robust detective system, it works well. And I'm looking... Oh my god, there's a unicorn in here. Yeah, there's just a lot. But, so if you're really interested in CRPGs and you want to try something that is, different? I mean, honestly, a lot of these tropes and writing styles, you know, I've seen them in a lot of other games, and books especially. But the fact that, you know, most video games usually focus on the whole combat side of things, and very few video games actually do the whole, you know, pure dialogue, investigative gameplay. Like, that's really cool, and I feel quite noteworthy. And I think they did a really good job with it. I mean, like, look at these cars, look at the environments. This is a pretty game. And I might play more of this, but I definitely won't be playing more for YouTube, because I'm pretty sure that would be a terrible idea. But at the same time, I don't know, I like it a lot. So it is $30 normally on Steam and Good Old Games, and I guess I'm going to say the Good Old Games was kind enough to send me a copy. So if you do feel like picking it up, get it through them, just because, I don't know. Good Old Games has been very nice to me in handing out, hair in my mouth. No, Good Old Games has not been giving me hair in my mouth. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, they've been very kind to me at sending out press copies for just such weird and cool games. And yeah, I think the $30 price tag is pretty good for this one. Obviously, I've only been playing for an hour, but I've barely scratched the surface, so I'm pretty sure this is one long as heck game as well, which I feel like is kind of a criteria for a CRPG. I've played a couple of short ones, and it usually has to be something special if it's that short in that case. I'm just playing with the reflections at this point. They look nice. But, with all that said, if you guys like this video in any way, shape, or form, leave me a like. Helps more than you know. And if you want to see more rad new indie games every single day, hit subscribe, because I got tons of them to check out. But, for now, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.